boiling oil destroys basically everything, right? So I was just wondering, how on earth does Salmonella actually survive a trip through a commercial deep fryer just to end up on, like, nearly 700,000 bags of potato chips?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds completely impossible until you start looking at the hidden mechanics of how our food is actually made. The vulnerabilities aren't really where we think they are.
Exactly. So today on the deep dive, we are looking at this massive wave of severe FDA class, I recalls, that are currently hitting major snack brands. We're talking Lay's, Zapp's, Dirty Chips.
Right. It is a huge mess right now.
It really is. And our mission today is to break down how these seemingly isolated brands actually share these invisible supply chain weaknesses and what you need to do if any of these bags are sitting in your pantry right now.
Because, navigating the snack aisle lately, it feels a bit like walking through a minefield with all these invisible supply chain errors popping up.
Totally. So let's start with the Lay's recall, because I think that gives us a really good baseline for how these risks get categorized. They recently pulled roughly 6,300 bags of Lay's Classic up in the Pacific Northwest.
Wow, 6,300.
Yeah, specifically in Washington and Oregon. So if you bought some recently, you can check the specific lot codes online. But the markers to look for are sales starting November 3rd, 2024, a guaranteed fresh date of February 11th, 2025, and the UPC is 28400311041.
And the FDA actually slapped a Class I designation on this, which is a big deal.
Right. What exactly does a Class I designation mean for the average person listening?
Well, it's their absolute highest risk level. It indicates that there is a reasonable probability of serious health consequences or, in severe cases, death. So it's not just like a typo on the label.
No, definitely not. But the crazy part is, the threat on those Lays isn't a pathogen like Salmonella. It's actually undeclared milk protein.
Ah, right. Because a classic chip is supposed to just be potatoes, oil, and salt.
Exactly. So if a consumer with a severe milk allergy grabs that bag, they are absolutely not expecting dairy. It's basically a localized packaging or cross-contamination error, making the product incredibly dangerous for that specific group.
Yeah, anaphylaxis is no joke. But then you look at the situation with Utz Quality Foods, the parent company of Zapp's and Dirty Chips, and that reveals a much wider systemic fragility.
Which is terrifying. How many bags do they have to pull?
Well, they had to recall nearly 685,000 bags.
Oh my gosh. That is massive.
Yeah, across popular flavors too, like Bayou Black and Ranch, Big Cheesy, and Maui Onion. And this actually brings us back to your opening question about Salmonella and the deep fryer.
Right, because I really looked into the manufacturing process for this. It bugged me so much.
Yep.
The chips are fried, and then they're completely cooled down first.
Exactly. The boiling oil isn't the problem at all. The vulnerability is the seasoning.
Yeah, they get tumbled in these flavor powders long after they leave the fryer. So
Yeah.
the Salmonella is just hitching a ride on the dry ingredients.
Precisely. I mean, think of the modern food supply chain like a municipal water tower.
Okay, a water tower, I'm tracking.
Right. So if the water inside that tower is tainted, every single house connected to the grid gets contaminated water, regardless of who actually built the house.
That makes a lot of sense. So who was the water tower in this chip scenario?
It was a third-party ingredient supplier called California Dairies. They provided a contaminated batch of dry milk powder to Utz.
Wow. So Zapp's and Dirty Chips might look like totally different products fighting for your attention on the shelf, but behind the scenes, they're pulling ingredients from the exact same centralized vat.
Exactly. One tainted batch of milk powder just ripples out and infects completely disparate product lines across the entire country.
Which means if you have any of these recalled flavors sitting at home, you absolutely cannot rely on a visual or a smell test.
No, not at all. Salmonella on dry powder is entirely undetectable to the human eye.
Right, so whatever you do, do not eat them. But also, you shouldn't just take the financial loss either.
Definitely get your money back. What's the best way to do that?
Well, I checked the Consumer Guide Settlement, and they say major retailers are highly motivated to get these hazardous items out of circulation.
Oh.
Because it is a huge safety issue, you typically don't even need a receipt for a full refund.
That's great, but if you don't want to actually transport a potentially contaminated bag back to the grocery store, which is totally fair, you should take a clear photo of the UPC and lot code before throwing it in the trash.
Yeah, it is a crucial tip. That photo basically serves as your proof of purchase for the refund.
Right.
And please sanitize your kitchen counters after.
Yeah.
That dry powder sheds so easily when you open or handle a bag. If you cross-contaminate your surfaces, it completely defeats the whole purpose of throwing the chips away.
It really does. It's just a stark reminder that the boundaries between these snack brands are largely an illusion created by marketing. At the manufacturing level, it's just this highly interconnected web.
It really is. Which leaves us with a pretty unsettling reality to consider the next time you're navigating the snack aisle. I mean, if a single bad batch of third-party milk powder can just quietly infiltrate hundreds of thousands of bags across multiple competing labels, you really have to wonder
Wonder what?
just how transparent is the ingredient list on the food we eat every single day.